Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Giselle Mills. If you're new, welcome and welcome back to my subscribers. Today's video is a little book haul video. So recently I went on a tiny little shopping spree at the mall. You may have seen my book shopping vlog. I will link it down below if you haven't seen it as yet. So this is the video in which I show you guys the books that I bought. So guys, I bought a total of 4 books. I was trying to be good and not spend too much money and buy too many books because I'm in the process of packing and I don't want to have to carry so much weight. So I bought 4 books. 3 out of the 4 books recently came out this year and I heard so much about them I decided I wanted to read them to see what they were about, to see if they actually lived up to the hype. So one of those books is this one called Red at the Bone, written by the author Jacqueline Woodson. She has written many books in different categories, some for middle grade, some for YA, some for adult. And I think this one is YA or almost adult, I'm not sure, but it's fiction, it's a novel, very short. Came out this year. So this book, Red at the Bone, it's about 2 families who unexpectedly have been joined together because of an unplanned teenage pregnancy. And it deals with the consequences of such pregnancy, the child that was produced out of that union, and the consequences, the relationship between the families, the members of the family, as well as the child. And I believe it goes back and forth in time. And yeah, it deals with relationship issues, how the community impacted on relationships between the parents and the child, as well as the family. And the back says that it explores sexual desire and identity, ambition, gentrification, education, class and status, and the life-altering facts of parenthood. So it seems to deal with a lot in this one tiny little book. But I'll see how it goes and I'll tell you guys what I thought about it. If you've read Red at the Bone, let me know down below in the comments and let me know, how you thought it was. So I will probably do a book review video on this book, so stay tuned for it. One of the other recently published books I bought is this one called Girl, Woman, Other by the author Bernardine Evaristo. Now, this is one of the more hyped books, I would say, and it gained a lot of popularity because, well, mainly it won the Man Booker Prize this year together with the book by Margaret Atwood, which was The Testaments, which I read and told you guys about. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it down below as well. So 2 authors won the prize this year, which is not usually done, but that happened this year. And I read one of those books, which was Margaret Atwood's The Testaments, and this is the other book by the other author who also won, Bernardine Evaristo, Girl, Woman, Other. Now this book, it's also a novel, so it's fiction. This book tells the story of 12 different women, mainly English women, British women, and Black women, who live various lives, very different lives from each other. And it also spans different time periods. So it sounds like it's going to be a very interesting read. I've never read a book like it. And yeah, so different women, different gender identities, different cultural issues, educational issues, different social statuses. And one thing that struck me as very unique about this book, besides the very interesting and beautiful cover, is the formatting. When I first saw this book, I didn't pick it up and buy it right away. I was a bit like, I wasn't too sure whether or not I wanted to read a book which was formatted very differently from the usual book, as in you have sentences beginning with common letters. You don't have the capital letters for the beginning of sentences. The punctuation is out of this world, all over the place. And yeah, it's very different, a very differently formatted book, I would say. One that I've never read. At first, that kind of put me off because, I didn't want to stray from what I normally read, and I thought it was kind of weird that a book like that would get published and actually win a prize. But when I saw the book again, I was like, you know what, let me give it a try. Let me see what is so awesome about this book that got it awarded the Man Booker Prize together with The Testaments. And of course the author is of African heritage. She's mixed race, I believe, but she's Nigerian and British. And it's the very first time that a woman of color of African descent won the Man Booker Prize. So I thought it was historical, and because of the historical significance of her winning the prize, I also thought it would be good to support the cause and pick up one of her books to see, what her writing style is like, and if I do like it, I may just read her other books as well. So I'll be reading this one sometime soon, well, next year for 2020, and I'll let you guys know all about it. If you've read it as well, let me know down below what you thought about it. The next book I picked up, which is also one of the more hyped books, is this one, The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He is also of African descent, but American author. And this book was one of Oprah's book club picks. So again, you can see why it would be hyped because, you know, Oprah. So this book is about a young man named Hiram Walker. It's set in the southern US during the slavery days. So it's about a young man who was born into slavery, into bondage, but he has this mystical, magical power of having a photographic memory. And apparently he uses this magical power of his in order to try to help fellow enslaved persons escape from the harshness and the cruelty of slavery in the southern south of the United States. So it's a book about magical realism as well as a historical fiction novel. The author is also well known for his non-fiction books. I haven't read any of his non-fiction works as yet, but since I heard so much about this book, I wanted to check it out. I believe this is his first fiction book. So this will be my first time actually reading anything from this author. And again, if I like it, I'll probably check out his non-fiction work as well to compare. But, you know, you can't really compare fiction and non-fiction, but I'll see. Isn't the cover so interesting? It seems to me to be an oil painting, and we have the young man, who I believe is the main character, underwater with bubbles and so perhaps this is how he gains his magic, from the water itself. But when I read, I'll know for sure, and I'll let you guys know what I thought of this book. If you've read it as well, let me know down below in the comments what you thought about it. So those were 3 of the 4 books that I bought, and those 3 recently came out this year, and I told you guys they've been more hyped and popular, so I want to see if they really stand up to the hype. I'm hoping that they do, because I really don't like to buy books with this great expectation and then read them and just be so disappointed. But we'll see, because literature is and art as a whole is just so subjective. So we'll see what I think about them after I read them. Now, the 4th and final book that I bought on my little book shopping spree is called Everything Everything by the author Nicola Yoon. If you saw my November wrap-up video, I'll also link it down below. I talked all about the author and her other book, her more recent book, which is called The Sun Is Also a Star, and how much I loved that book. I was so surprised by how wonderful and heartwarming it was, and I decided that I had to buy her other book. So she wrote 2 books, as far as I know, 2 novels, and this is her first one, Everything Everything. Just like The Sun Is Also a Star, it was also turned into a movie recently. I haven't seen either movies. I like to read the books before I watch the movies generally. So I love The Sun Is Also a Star, and I'm hoping I'm going to love Everything Everything as well. It's also a YA coming of age novel with romance, of course. It's about a girl who believes that she is sick and allergic to everything, and basically everything, and her mother keeps her locked up inside. And apparently she hasn't left her house in 17 years. Now there's this boy who lives next door, and apparently he's determined to find a way in order to reach our main character, and I believe their romance blossoms from there. So I can't wait to read this one as well, because I love happily ever afters, especially when it's romantic and just, oh, makes your heart melt. So I'm looking forward to this one as well. So guys, those were the 4 books that I bought on my little shopping spree. I'm quite excited to dive into them and read them. But I don't think I'll have enough time to read them this month in December. So they will definitely be going on my TBR list, probably for January or sometime early next year. Again, if you've read any, just let me know down below, and we could probably have a little discussion as to what you liked and what you didn't like. So guys, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video. And if you're not subscribed already, you know what to do. Please click that red button. I'd love for you to join my little writing and reading community here on BookTube. You can also feel free to follow me on Twitter. I'm active on Twitter every single day. I'm also on Instagram. I am at Giselle_Mills on Twitter. And you can also find me on Instagram at Caribbean Books. So guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.